Hi, let's review your MT3LT5 affirmation. You did it mostly right. You made one major error on most of the problems. And let's take a look at example 1. It's a perfect example you did here. 5y squared minus 60 equals 0. We add 60 to both sides. You divide both sides by 5. Y squared equals 12. Remember, when you take the square root of both sides, y equals plus or minus the square root of 12. So you should have had 3.46 or negative 3.46. You're going to see that on most of the problems. That's why you got a 0%. Let's take a look. Now this one a little bit harder. You did a few more mistakes on this one. First off, we have to complete the square. So we're going to, and remember when you complete the square, you can't have a leading coefficient in front of it. So we're going to factor that 2 out of the x's. So I'm going to say f of x equals 2, parentheses, well then we're going to say x squared plus 4, x, leave a blank and I'll go add 5. Now I go to the side. I'm going to take half of my middle term. Put my parentheses in the wrong spot there. Half of 4. And I'm going to square that. Well, half of 4 is 2. 2 squared is 4. So I'm going to add 4. Now notice that I'm distributing, so I'm really adding 8. So 2 times 4 is 8. I can't just magically add 8. So I better subtract 8 to make them 0. So whatever I have to add, I have to subtract the same thing. Now, let's factor. So I get 2 times x plus 2, the quantity squared, minus 3. So that is your answer for part A. Maybe I should have written f of x here so you can see it. So my vertex is at negative 2 and negative 3 because it's x minus h and y plus k. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to plot my vertex. So negative 2 and negative 3. There's a 2 in front of it, so that means when I go to the right one, I go up 2. When I go over 2, I go up 4. And then I graph my parabola. Remember, if you don't get a parabola, that means you made a mistake. You want to go back and see if you can find your error. Okay, number 3. You did it right, except w equals plus or minus 4. Question number 4. You did not take half your middle term. You take half of 6, and we square that. Half of 6 is 3. We square that, you get 9. You add 9 to both sides. And then on my last term here, follow the directions. You did the problem correctly, except notice the directions. I don't want a decimal this time. I want you to simplify your answer as much as possible. No decimals. So x squared equals plus or minus the square root of 75. Make a factor tree. Notice, if I take 25 times 3, I get 75. The square root of 25 is 5. So our answer should be plus or minus 5 square roots of 3. When you type that in, you're going to type in 5 square roots of 3, comma, negative 5 square roots of 3. So although you got a 0%, you really just made like 2 small errors. But you repeated them on every single problem, unfortunately.